Though the Pokémon timeline is complex and split into countless alternate universes and 2 main multiverses, what all have in common is that at the beginning there was nothing but an egg which hatched into Arceus, also known as the Pokémon God. Arceus created Giratina, Dialga, and Palkia to administer the powers of antimatter, time, and space. Where Dialga and Palkia created the basis for the world, Giratina was eventually banished by Arceus to the distortion world for its violence. With their labors complete, Dialga and Palkia retreated to their dimensions, while Arceus continued its mission, creating 3 Lake Guardians. More legendary Pokémon like Kyogre, Groudon were formed from the depths of the world, filling the seas with water and creating land. Rayquaza, the third of these, floated high in the ozone layer and intervened whenever the 2 arch-enemies clashed. The only other Pokémon known from these times were the Mews found around the world, and Regigigas, who with his strength shaped the many regions and created 3 Titan Pokémon, Regirock, Regice, and Registeel, of clay, ice, and magma. The era of creation drew to a close as Arceus went into slumber upon creating 3 time-space orbs. Hundreds of millions of years passed, and the once great Mew population slowly declined. The first humans appeared, and the few Pokémon in the era of creation became many as prehistoric types such as Kabuto, Kabutops, and Aerodactyl appeared, ruled for 200 million years, and went extinct following a meteorite impact. Only the first Pokémon bird, Archon, and the turtle Pokémon, Tirtuga, were left to thrive and mark the beginning for a new line of Pokémon. Hundreds of millions of additional years and countless evolutions passed until the end of the last Ice Age, which led to another reduction of the number of existing Pokémon. The humans, who by now had settled most of the world, worshipped several of the legendary Pokémon or magical creatures. One of these was Regigigas until they realized the threat that his powers posed to the Pokémon world. Fearing the unknown, they sealed him and the Rock Titans away. But darker times were looming. A few thousand years passed until a ferocious war broke out between 2 rivaling factions in the province of Kalos. Nevertheless, instead of sending out soldiers to settle their differences, they sent out their Pokémon to do the battles for them. The terrible conflict resulted in the death of many Pokémon, including King AZ's Floette. Bearing witness to this horrible sight, the mighty AZ built a machine to revive the fallen Floette. Filled with guilt, he couldn't forgive the responsible parties for the bloody war, and in his anger transformed the Machine of Life to an ultimate weapon. Despite being aware of its consequence, AZ fired without remorse, the weapon to put an end to the war. Floette was brought back to life, but the plan backfired horribly as accidentally the machine would grant immortality to his Floette and himself. When Floette learned about this selfish act, she abandoned her master. The destruction that followed was so great that it caused a rift in time and space itself and led to the creation of 2 different multiverses. In the first instance, the energy unleashed impacted specific stones out in space, creating megastones, while in the other multiverse, none such thing occurred as the Kalos War never took place. And the outcome where the megastones came into existence, this event would mark the origin of Mega Evolution. 1,000 years passed since the Kalos War, and due to meteorite showers of the megastones in the Hoenn region, Kyogre and Groudon woke up from their slumbers in their primal forms and resumed their fight for world domination. Once again, Rayquaza intervened, but this time it was a result of pleas from the ancient Draconid tribe. In the Mega Evolution universe, when another meteor shower 1,000 years later caused Kyogre and Groudon to fight for the primal source, Rayquaza performed the first Mega Evolution and quelled the 2 archenemies. Around the same time, in the Unova region, there once was a kingdom where the royal family had for a long time ruled the land with a mysterious dragon. This balance of power maintained until the day when two successor princes ended up in a dispute over what should define their land, truth or ideals. As a result of this division, the original dragon split into Reshiram and Zekrom to serve each of the princes, while Qrem was left as the empty husk of the original dragon. A decisive confrontation between the two brothers took place as Reshiram and Zekrom fought, but were unable to conquer one another. As a result, the brothers set away their differences in an utterly ruined Unova. Time passed, and the first Pokeballs were engineered. With it, the humans had finally the means to capture, store, breed, research, befriend, and most importantly, train Pokémon for battle in a competitive setting. To regulate and professionalize this gambling activity, official Pokémon leagues were set up in the different regions. To enter these, a trainer had to travel across the particular region to obtain gym leader badges. From this point onward, children between the age of 10 and 12 were granted their first Pokémon. However, Pokémon battles remained a dangerous activity until Professor Westwood developed the first modern Pokéball. The results of his research greatly reduced the danger of injury and death involved in hunting and catching Pokémon. The popularity of the sport exploded, but with a lucrative multi-billion-dollar business on the rise, it was bound that dishonest souls would attempt to exploit the situation. This resulted in the creation of multiple criminal organizations aimed to steal Pokémon from trainers and blackmail executives. The most notorious of these was the Kanto-based Team Rocket, headed by the trainer-turned-businessman Giovanni. Rocket quickly grew to notoriety for organized theft and sale of rare and valuable Pokémon on an industrial scale. Resorting to brutal methods against Pokémon and their trainers, the team was bent to conquer the world, but its leader had a completely different obsession, namely the legendary Mew. Following long searches, Giovanni and his scientists finally managed to replicate and alter the DNA of Mew to give birth to the ultimate Pokémon, Mewtwo. Upon learning its origins, it turned against the scientists and made its way to the Cerulean Cave. In this harsh reality, the renowned Pokémon researcher Professor Oak from Pallet Town prepared 3 starter Pokémon for 3 very special trainers: Red, his grandson Blue, and Leaf Green. Upon picking their Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, they were tasked to complete the Pokédex, while Blue, who was bent on tormenting his rival, challenged Red for a battle on the way to the Pewter City and Cerulean City gyms, where the two earned their first badges upon beating Brock and Misty. Red continued his journey, earning the Thunder Badge, and got to Lavender Town, where he took on Team Rocket, and together with Blue, solved the mystery of the Haunted Tower. This resulted in the touching reunion between an orphan baby Cubone with the spirit of its murdered mother. From here on out, Red defeated 4 more gym leaders and confronted the Team Rocket boss Giovanni twice. One of them involved a face-off at the Silk Company for the precious Master Ball. Red continued his journey. On Cinnabar Island, he learned about the identity of an entirely new Pokémon, but nothing could prepare him for the leader in the 8th and final gym in Viridian City, the Team Rocket Mafia boss, Giovanni. After a long and hard-fought battle, Red finally defeated the criminal mastermind and taught him a lesson on what Pokémon are truly about. This led to a change of heart from Giovanni, who decided to disband Team Rocket. Red conquered Victory Road and defeated the Elite Four of the Pokémon League at Indigo Plateau. Only one challenge remained, the current champion, Blue. The time had come for the ultimate battle. After using up their remaining Pokémon, it was time for the final showdown. Fire against water, Charizard versus Blastoise. Both had come a long way, but only one had an unbreakable bond. This difference turned decisive as Red defeated his arch-rival Blue, becoming a true Pokémon champion. But the journey was far from over, as the Pokédex had yet to be completed, and Red resumed his quest catching legendary Pokémon such as Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, and set course for the Cerulean Cave and Mewtwo. The battle against the Psychic Master was immensely tough as Mewtwo continued to regenerate. So much so that in some of the outcomes, Red had to use his Master Ball, while in others, he used all his abilities to weaken Mewtwo and capture the ultimate Pokémon the regular way. The outcome was still the same, as Red had completed the Pokédex, with exception of catching Mew, that is. Wonder if it is still under that truck. Well, at least in that universe, since the Kanto struggle against Team Rocket took place in several alternate Pokémon universes where Mega Evolutions don't exist, and Multiverses where Mega Evolutions do exist because of King AZ's action. In the ones where Mega Evolutions did not exist, we know of at least 3 alternate universes. 2 of them involving a different Red, Blue, and a female trainer known as Leaf, which involved further adventures afterwards, and then another one tied to a special Pikachu. Anyhow, these are just examples that the Pokémon universe does not only consist of one universe, and that these again have 2 main categories, those where Mega Evolution exists and others which it doesn't. We will get back to Mega Evolutions when we conclude the timeline without Mega Evolutions, but for now, let's get back to the original non-Mega Evolution timeline involving Red and Professor Oak. Around the same time in the Hoenn region, 2 other trainers, May and Brendan, were about to set off on their quests and discover the dark secrets of the province. Norman, the father of either May or Brendan, depending on the universe or reality you play in, had recently taken over the position as the leader of the Petalburg Gym and sent his child to his friend Professor Birch to pick his or her starter Pokémon Trico, Torchic, or Mudkip. Upon saving the professor from a pack of wild Poochyena by using one of the starter Pokémon, which differed based on the universe and realities they were set in, Norman's child was allowed to keep the Pokémon used in the battle and depart to claim the 8 gym badges and challenge the Elite Four of the Hoenn province. Nevertheless, 2 opposing criminal organizations, Team Magma headed by Maxie and Team Aqua headed by Archie, had set their goal in the next meteorite shower to awaken the 2 legendary Pokémon, Groudon and Kyogre. Meanwhile, May or Brendan awoke the legendary rock titans of Hoenn, Regice, Registeel, and Regirock, battled the mini grunts and admins, and slowly learned that the 2 teams aimed to use the red and blue orbs to summon Groudon and Kyogre to respectively expand landmass for humans and expand the amount of water. Despite being warned in 3 alternate universes, the team leaders awoke the sleeping giants. This was a massive mistake, as the ancient Pokémon had no interest in obeying the teams and headed to Sutopolis City, causing the weather to go wild. The ultimate showdown was about to take place. Luckily, when all seemed lost, Brendan or May hurried to awaken Rayquaza that flew off and separated the 2, thus preventing further devastation. With all 8 badges, the time finally arrived for May or Brendan to challenge and beat the Elite Four, and then the current Hoenn Pokémon League champion, Steven. Brendan or May were then inducted into the Hall of Fame. 3 years passed until in the neighboring region of Johto, 2 new trainers with quite different principles were about to set out on their great adventure. The young Gold had just picked his starter Pokémon from Professor Elm when he caught Silver stealing from the laboratory and challenged him to a battle. Upon this first encounter, Gold set out to claim the 8 badges of Johto. On the way, Gold encountered Kurt, a special Pokeball maker, persuaded the young trainer to fight against the restored Team Rocket. In an attempt to reach their missing leader, Rocket Grunts hijacked a radio station and transmitted a plea to him. 3 long years had passed since international police forces stormed the Viridian Gym, which Giovanni had just abandoned. Traveling from gym to gym, Gold encountered Silver on numerous occasions and battled Team Rocket members who attempted to locate Giovanni. Upon their decisive defeat, Gold captured the legendary Ho-Oh, or Lugia, after being entrusted the clear bell at the Tin Tower. Finally, he encountered Suicune after awakening the other legendary beasts Raikou and Entei from their slumber at the Burn Tower. With all 8 badges, Gold returned to Professor Elm, who handed him a Master Ball and told him to head for Kanto. Gold crossed Victory Road, beat Silver one last time, and finally challenged and defeated the Elite Four and the current Pokémon champion, Lance. Gold was greeted by Professor Oak and inducted into the Pokémon Hall of Fame, and then went on to challenge the 8 gyms of the Kanto region. With all 8 Kanto badges, Gold was finally granted passage by Professor Oak to Route 28 and up to Mount Silver, where a true Pokémon master awaited. Red, with his Pikachu, Lapras, Venusaur, Blastoise, Snorlax, and Charizard, was an incredible final challenge to take on by Gold. But he still went on to challenge the legendary Red. The exhausting and decisive battle begun, and the 2 masters followed each other Pokémon by Pokémon, dealing one spectacular blow after the other. In the end, each of them had only 1 Pokémon left. To this day, it is unknown who came out triumphant from this battle, but it is assumed that Red, following this battle, went on an extensive quest across the world. It is also worth mentioning that the Johto struggle against Team Rocket also took place, but in slightly different forms in alternate universes. During the events involving Gold and Silver in Johto, a mysterious red Gyarados was sighted in the Lake of Rage, an event that was televised and viewed around the same time by the soon-to-be trainers Lucas and Dawn, who soon after selected their starter Pokémon from Professor Round of the Sinnoh region. Just like in the 3 previous cases, Lucas or Dawn had to claim all the region badges, fight an evil organization named Team Galactic, and then challenge the Elite Four and the League Champion. What is interesting about Sinnoh is Team Galactic with its leader Cyrus. Their aim was to recreate the entire Pokémon universe into a utopia without spirit by summoning the legendary Dialga and Palkia to alter time and space. Unable to handle them, the Lake Guardians could not interfere in the plans. Nevertheless, when all seemed lost, the banished Giratina swapped Cyrus, Dialga, and Palkia to prevent the destruction of the Pokémon and Distortion worlds. Giratina returned back to its world, and Lucas or Dawn followed after. Thanks to some help from Mesprith, Azelf, Uxie, and Cynthia, Lucas or Dawn were able to navigate through the gravity-defying environments. There it was, Arceus's banished and misunderstood creation, Giratina. The legendary and infamous Pokémon was a tough foe, but in the end, Lucas or Dawn weakened it enough to be captured, calmed, and then used in the final battles against the Elite Four and the current champion, Cynthia. With these victories, the time had come to awaken and catch the legendary Titans, Regirock, Regice, Registeel, and finally, Regigigas at Snow Point Temple. A few years passed until a new trainer, Hilbert, set off on his quest in the Unova region. Similarly to the previous cases, this region had also its plague, Team Plasma. Claiming to fight for the freedom of Pokémon, it soon turned out that their leader, Ghetsis' true aim was to be the only trainer left with Pokémon. Learning about this, Hilbert was called by one of the legendary dragons to rise up against N, Ghetsis' right hand and adopted son. It soon turned out that N had the opposing dragon, leading to a decisive battle between the two. As a result of his defeat, N realized his mistake, turned against Team Plasma and Ghetsis. With Plasma out of the way, Hilbert went on to claim the title as Unova League champion. Nevertheless, similarly to the dissolution of Team Rocket, the destruction of Plasma was nothing else but wishful thinking. As 2 years after their presumed defeat and dissolution, a new trainer, Nate, encountered them and learned about their new target, takeover of the Unova region. Infuriated by his past defeat and the new nuisance, Ghetsis decided to utilize Q-Rem to clear his path to rule and get rid of any opponents, including Nate. In that moment, the remorseful N appeared to save the young trainer, but instead fell into his former superior's trap. Following this great act of sacrifice, Nate was left alone, but accepted the challenge and defeated once and for all Ghetsis and the dragon. With the threat out of his way, Nate finally took the step to become Unova champion, and as a gesture of gratitude, received the remaining dragon from N. Afterwards, he went on to compete in the Champions Tournament of the Pokémon World Tournament in the Unova region, where among many challengers was Red from Kanto. The Unova Chronicles conclude the non-Mega Evolution timelines, the most straightforward universes of the Pokémon Multiverses. The Multiverses begins with the war in Kalos, but the effects of this multiverse can first be seen in Kanto and with the first generation. Here we have additional alternate universes under the Mega Evolution Multiverses, that of Pokémon Origins and Pokémon Let's Go. Let's begin with Pokémon Origins and Red's adventure across Kanto, which went on just like in the non-Mega Evolution Kanto universes, until the battle against Mewtwo was in reality lost after Charizard and Red were sent out flying. It was in this desperate situation that Red's Keystone responded and Charizard Mega evolved. With its newfound powers, Red and Mega Charizard single-handedly weakened Mewtwo and served him cornered on a silver plate to Red, who then caught the legendary, though cloned, Pokémon. Now to the mainline Mega Evolution timeline that we, for the most part, will follow for the rest of this video. So let's go! In the province of Kanto, where Mega Evolution exists, you caught, depending on the universe, a Pikachu or an Eevee, and went on the same path as Red had in Origins, visiting the 8 gyms and gym leaders of Kanto, battling Team Rocket, and among them the most recognizable grunt members, Jesse and James. As what was the case in the non-Mega Evolution universe, the male or female trainer made their way across the land, solved the mystery in Lavender Town by kicking out Team Rocket, traversed to Cinnabar Island, and learned about the existence of Mewtwo. From here, while flying or surfing their way through Kanto, the boy or girl then challenged the Team Rocket Mafia boss and leader of the Viridian City Gym, Giovanni, twice. After his defeat, the path was cleared to Victory Road, the Indigo Plateau, the Elite Four, and finally, Champion Battle. Even so, the Champion title was only the beginning of the battle, as in this iteration of Kanto, Red, Blue, and Green were also present and bent on challenging the young trainer champion. The same went for the 150 master trainers who were ready to test the abilities of our selected male or female trainer after catching all of the Pokémon in the Pokédex, including the legendary Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, Mewtwo, the mythical Meltan, and Melmetal, and even Mew? Things for sure turned out differently in this reality. In the Hoenn region, Team Magma or Team Aqua managed to use the blue or red orbs to awaken Primal Groudon or Primal Kyogre. Unlike in the non-Mega Evolution universe, Rayquaza was never summoned to stop the individual legendary Pokémon, as Brendan or May managed to calm down Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre in time. However, there was another threat that was targeting the Pokémon world out from space: the Meteoroid. Originally, Zinnia, a Pokémon trainer of the ancient Draconid tribe, had infiltrated Team Magma and Team Aqua in order to awaken Pokémon Groudon and Kyogre, and then call Rayquaza back to Hoenn to destroy the approaching Meteoroid. When this couldn't happen due to Brendan's or May's actions, she changed her plan and broke into Professor Birch's home to steal May's keystone. Learning about this, the fresh Hoenn League champion set out to battle Zinnia, who, in order to prevent a teleportation of the oncoming Meteoroid to the non-Mega Evolution multiverse of Mega Evolution Hoenn, destroyed the device and revealed her big secret at Sky Pillar. Zinnia told May about Rayquaza, and the two teamed up to summon the legendary Pokémon with the Keystones. Nevertheless, in an unexpected turn of events, Rayquaza was too weak to Mega Evolve, and it was first after it was given Meteorite to consume that the evolution finally took place. May then battled and captured Mega Rayquaza, used it to flow out to space, destroyed the approaching Meteorite, then battled and captured Deoxys at the edge of space. Zinnia had already left Sky Pillar, leaving only a note to Brendan or May thanking for freeing her from a lifelong duty. After the Delta incident, two new trainers in the province of Kalos were about to select their starter Pokémon from Professor Sycamore and head out to collect the badges required to enter the Kalos Pokémon League. Though at first it looked like this would be a regular Pokémon adventure for Serena and Callum, things quickly turned sour as they faced the ideological syndicate Team Flare, run by the self-made billionaire and philanthropist Lysander. To cover his underground operation and his true aim to purify the world and destroy Kalos, Lysander for a while kept his facade as an admired, innovative, and successful citizen. Serena or Callum continued their struggles for the gym leader badges, and along the way gained a special Lucario, a Mega Ring, and then learned to use the power of Mega Evolution. Nevertheless, by the time either of the two trainers had gained their badges from the second to last gym leader Olympia, Lysander announced his plans for Kalos. Being witness to this televised announcement, Serena or Callum challenged Lysander and discovered the imprisoned and immortal AZ. Lysander then intervened and informed about AZ and his involvement in the Kalos War 3,000 years prior, and went on to manipulate either of the young trainers to defeat his scientist, Xerosic. But this was just a setup, as Lysander's true goal was to create a better world and remove anyone who opposed him. Infuriated, Callum or Serena took on Lysander using the newly acquired Mega Stone, caught the legendary Pokémon Xerneas or Evital, and left Lysander to be destroyed by his own ego and the so-called ultimate weapon. Full of confidence and determination, Serena or Callum conquered the last gym leader Wulfric, conquered their way through Victory Road, and crushed the Elite Four in the Kalos Pokémon League and the champion Diantha. A true legend had finally reached her goal of becoming the Pokémon Master of Kalos, caught 50% Zygarde, and even was responsible for the heartwarming reunion between the former King AZ and his Floette. After the events in Kalos and the Alola Islands region, Lily smuggled out the mysterious Cosmog out of a mysterious laboratory. 3 months passed, and Sun or Moon, who had just moved from Kanto, and Kahuna Hala's grandson, Hau, selected 2 of the Alola starter Pokemon Rowlet, Litten, or Poplio. Naturally, just like every other province, the Alola Islands also had a criminal team named Skull that was after valuable Pokemon. After the first skirmish against its grunts, Sun or Moon received a stone, which was then carved into a powerful Z-ring by Hau's grandfather, Hala. Unlike the other provinces, Alola didn't have designated town gyms. Instead, they had island challenges and kahuna battles. Upon completing the first set of challenges in the trial, Sun or Moon headed to Akala Island and received a Zygarde core. Shortly after, Sun or Moon faced Kahuna Olivia and were shortly after introduced to Lusamine, the powerful president of the Aether Foundation. At the Foundation's headquarters, they were introduced to their work of protecting and healing Pokémon from the clutches of Team Skull and its enforcer, Gladion. And after facing UB1, the origin of the Ultra Beasts. The UB originated from an alternate dimension, the Ultra Space, and arrived to Alola through an Ultra wormhole. Following this lesson about the UB, Sun or Moon faced the Team Skull leader Guzma, but could not prevent Team Skull Plumeria from taking Lily and Cosmog away. Luckily, as all seemed lost, Team Skull defector Gladion showed up and brought the three to the Aether base, where it was revealed that Cosmog was an Ultra Beast capable of opening Ultra wormholes, that Team Skull's leader had collaborated with Lusamine to unleash the Ultra Beast on Alola, and finally, that Lily and Gladion were Lusamine's children. Lusamine was stopped in time, and Cosmog was spared from death, but Lusamine and Guzma escaped through the closing wormhole to the Ultra Space. Time was about to run, and Sun or Moon hurried to the altar of Sun or Moon to reawaken Cosmog and transform it into either the legendary Lunala or Solgaleo and open the wormhole to the Ultra Space. There, Guzma and Lusamine awaited their arrival for a final battle between Sun or Moon and the corrupted fusion of Lusamine and Nihilego, UB1. From here, with either Lunala or Solgaleo at their disposal, Sun or Moon made their way to Mount Lanakila to conquer the Elite Four of the newly established Alola Pokémon League, and then faced Professor Kukui for the champion title. Sun or Moon kept calm, carried on, and finally challenged and defeated Kukui, and was crowned as the first champion of Alola. Shortly after, Looker, the international police officer, approached Sun or Moon and Kukui with a task to hunt down the remaining UBs and drop the bombshell that his partner Annabelle was a human faller from another world who ended up in this world through an ultra wormhole. But this was merely the beginning, as Looker continued to explain that UBs didn't voluntarily come to this world, and that Annabelle, who inherits a strong ultra wormhole aura, had been recruited by the UB Police Special Task Force as UB bait. In fact, Annabelle originally derived from the Hoenn region in a different universe where Mega Evolution does not exist. Upon hunting down and catching all the remaining UBs, he battled Mega Evolution Universe Red and Blue, who were visiting Alola for the battle tree, and then gained the respect of the island spirit Tapu. Lily thanked Sun or Moon and then departed for Kanto in order to find a cure for her mother. Now, if having multiple alternate universes within each game and a clear-cut division between universes where Mega Evolution exists wasn't enough, you also have alternate universes in the Mega Evolution universes that can be connected by ultra wormholes. So, in an alternative universe to the one we just went over, a nearly identical adventure was about to unfold. Well, with the exception of the presence of many more Ultra Beasts, the Ultra Recon Squad, and the fact that Lusamine aimed to locate the ultra-dangerous Necrozma and then ended up being thrown out of the same wormhole. Necrozma then merged with Lunala and Solgaleo, while other Ultra wormholes threw out more and more Ultra Beasts. You see, while the wormholes could connect different parallel universes, it primarily connected the Ultra Space with the Ultra Recon Squad's home city of Ultra Megalopolis. There, this world's Sun or Moon faced Duskmane or Dawnwing's Necrozma to free Solgaleo or Lunala at Megalo Tower. Just like in the parallel universe, either Sun or Moon went on to become the first league champion of Alola. Not long after Mega Evolution, Team Rocket's former boss Giovanni was brought to Alola through an ultra wormhole from Mega Evolution Kanto. Not wasting any time, he rapidly joined forces with Aether Foundation's Faba to overthrow Lusamine and found Rainbow Rocket, a criminal syndicate with the leader from all the previously mentioned criminal teams. Team Rocket, Giovanni, Team Aqua, Archie, Team Magma, Maxie, Team Galactic, Cyrus, Team Plasma, Ghetsis, Team Flare, Lysander, who had been brought in from parallel universes and multiverses through ultra wormholes, and Aether's Faba from Alola. Together with Lily, Sun, or Moon, defeated all of Rainbow Rocket and liberated the imprisoned Lusamine, while Giovanni continued to travel among alternate universes. As for Pokémon Sword and Shield and the Galar region, the timeline or multiverse placement is more unclear. Much points to a clear reboot and the introduction of a new multiverse. Though the other regions are there, and we have a few clues which can guide us. One of them are the special Pokémon from Pokémon Let's Go, and the only Kanto Meowth which can be imported into the game. Another are references to other regions in the world of Pokémon, though throughout the entire game there is only a single mention of them by Sonia, and even then the young professor does not mention specifically Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, or Alola, or any of the famous professors from these. Furthermore, neither the post-game nor the battle tower has any trainers or champions from outside Galar, and there are no signs or references to the other leagues and champions that we have reappeared in past Pokémon titles. Finally, there is the matter of Mega Evolution, which doesn't exist in Galar, unlike what was the case in Kanto, Hoenn, Kalos, and Alola, or Z-moves in Alola. Instead, Galar had Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, and both of these go back to ancient times when it was a plague in the region. As such, it appears that Pokémon Sword and Shield is either at the end of the non-Mega Evolution universe, or more likely introduces a brand new multiverse and a soft reboot to the Pokémon franchise. Long ago in ancient times, two brothers watched a falling wishing star when on the darkest day disaster struck. A great black storm covered Galar, and under Eternatus's influence, Gigantamax Pokémon ran rampant, crushing everything in their path. It was then that two legendary Pokémon, Zacian and Zamazenta, with their sword and shield, prevented disaster and paved the way to the throne for the two brothers. They in turn made Hammerlock their capital and erected a giant memorial to commemorate the grand victory. Many centuries passed, and the memory of the two legendary Pokémon slowly faded away. This was in part due to the efforts of later royal descendants who aimed to rewrite history and hide all traces and memorials of Zacian and Zamazenta. Good examples here are the tapestries in Hammerlock's vault and the boulder and mural in Stow-on Side, placed to cover the statues hiding behind. At one unspecified point, the old monarchy was dissolved. Then you had Rose, who rose to prominence as founder of the Macrocosmos Corporation, chairman of the Galar League, and by popularizing Dynamaxing after it was rediscovered and brought under control by Professor Magnolia. Most of all, though, Rose was obsessed with the dormant power from Hammerlock's tower, and the entire castle was most likely turned into a stadium and an energy plant. The construction of this facility caused the need for a new capital, a modern metropolis designed and developed by Chairman Rose. Here in Winden, the previously endorsed by Rose, Leon, rose to prominence, was crowned champion, and with his Charizard, remained undefeated for years to come. A fact which ignited Hop, his younger brother's ambition to one day be the one that would dethrone him. Following an exhibition match with his rival Raihan, Leon returned to Wedgehurst to promote the upcoming Galar Gym Challenge, and then outside his home, handed Hop and Victor or Gloria their starter Pokémon, Grookey, Scorbunny, or Sobble. Upon their first battle as rivals, Victor or Gloria and Hop followed a loose Wooloo into the slumbering weld, where the two fresh trainers faced a mysterious Pokémon which was completely untouchable. This encounter intrigued Sonia and her grandmother, Professor Magnolia, and put pressure on Leon to endorse both Hop and Victor or Gloria for the upcoming gym challenge. Leon, though, was skeptical and demanded another match, which convinced him. Then, like in ancient times, two wishing stars fell down for the two young trainers, and Professor Magnolia quickly affixed them to Dynamax bands to increase the new challenger's odds in Galar's gyms. Waving their goodbyes, Hop and Victor or Gloria set off for the opening ceremony at Motostoke Stadium. The train, however, ran into a flock of Wooloo, who blocked the further path from the vast wild area. This didn't bother the fresh trainers in the slightest, in particular since Sonia followed to investigate the Dynamax phenomenon and the events of the darkest day. Who would remain an obstacle, though, was Team Yell, the passionate fans of Gym Challenger Marnie, and the source of her greatest embarrassment. Well, them and Gym Challenger Bede, who Chairman Rose had personally endorsed. Victor or Gloria set out to collect the first 3 gym badges in the stadiums in Turfield, Hulbury, and Motostoke, and on the way explored the Darkest Day Geoglyph in Turfield with Sonia. Determined, Victor or Gloria entered the stadiums and pulled out Dynamax victories against Milo, Nessa, and Kabu, claimed the grass, water, and fire badges, and was even invited for dinner with Sonia, Chairman Rose, and his secretary Oleana. With the first 3 badges secured, Milo, Nessa, and Kabu waved their goodbyes and wished the best of luck on the journey across the northern wild area to Hammerlock and the second half of the gym challenge. There, Chairman Rose explained in detail how the plant in the city worked by generating energy from Hammerlock Stadium's tower, and Sonia went over some old tapestries depicting the circumstances behind the founding of the former Kingdom of Galar. Though one question remained, were the sword and shield wielded by the brothers or Pokémon? The answer was revealed underneath the mural in Stow-on-Side, which Bede had destroyed. Nonetheless, this act of vandalism greatly upset Chairman Rose, who decided to withdraw his endorsement of Bede. Victor or Gloria went on to Dynamax and later Gigantamax their Pokémon to defeat the next gym leaders Bede, Opal, Gordy, Piers, and finally Raihan to claim the Fighting, Fairy, Rock, Dark, and Dragon badges, complete the gym challenge, and qualify for the Champion Cup in Winden. The battles against Marnie and Hop went well, and Victor or Gloria qualified for the final cup, but then Leon went missing. Eventually, they tracked him down to Rose's tower, where they took on Macrocosmos' Oleana, but failed to convince Leon to confront Rose, Macrocosmos' CEO, there and then. Instead, the naive champion was outwitted by his chairman under the false promise to delay his energy experiment until after the Champion Cup was concluded. Rose, however, had no intention to delay his plan, and while everyone was occupied with Victor or Gloria's matches against Bede and the other gym leaders, he released Eternatus from its imprisonment and lost control. Just as the title match was about to begin, the chairman interrupted, not to wish luck, but inform that things had gotten out of hand with Eternatus, causing Pokémon to Dynamax in a number of Galar stadiums. Angered Leon headed straight for the tower in Hammerlock, while the challenger with Hop returned back with Sonia to locate in the slumbering weld the legendary Pokémon who halted the darkest day. Unfortunately, instead of Zacian and Zamazenta, Victor or Gloria and Hop only found their resting place and a rusted sword and shield. Even so, they shared the spoils and brought them up to the top of Hammerlock after defeating Chairman Rose, who confessed to awakening the dangerous Eternatus. Victor or Gloria and Hop arrived just when Leon was brought down to his knees, forcing his younger brother and the title challenger to finish the battle with Eternatus. Together, they continued to weaken the monstrosity, but as it appeared that victory was in sight, a Gigantamaxing turned the odds. completely untouchable Gloria and Hop combined their rusted sword and shield and called upon Zacian and Zamazenta, who joined the two trainers and their Pokémon for the mother of all max raid battles. With their help, Victor or Gloria finally caught Eternatus, and then go up against Leon with his Charizard and the fully evolved starter that everyone overlooked. The undefeated champion was toppled from the throne in an incredible showdown, and with it, the time arrived to return the rusted sword and shields. Just then, as Victor or Gloria, Hop, and Sonia were reminiscing over their long adventure, the Darkest Day and Zacian and Zamazenta, two descendants of the deposed royal family, Swordward and Shieldbert, showed up, insulted Professor Sonia, told that they would restore the monarchy, took one of the rusted weapons from Hop, and hurried off to Turfield, Hulberry, Stow-on-Side, Sirchester, and finally Hammerlock Stadium to Dynamax a number of innocent Pokémon. While Victor or Gloria were occupied calming down these, Swordward and Shieldbert abused the rusted sword or shield to call upon Zacian or Zamazenta to cause havoc. When it refused and instead went after Swordward or Shieldbert and Hop, Zacian or Zamazenta came down, calmed down its counterpart, and then accepted to be caught by Victor or Gloria. Hop then rushed to the Slumbering Weld and was accepted by the remaining legendary, setting the stage for one final time battle with his original rival and now champion of Galar to conclude a long journey. The only thing which remained was to conquer the battle tower, where among many, Leon waited once again. And we made it. The end of long and complicated timelines of non-Mega Evolution, Mega Evolution, and possibly even more multiverses with a number of multiverses for each of the games. The Pokémon timeline or multiverses are no doubt complex and took a long time to make, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe to Commonwealth Realm, and press that notification bell if you haven't already.
As always, a very big thank you to all our patrons on patreon.com/commonrealm, and obviously, these kind of productions, especially starring Jason Dameron as the voiceover lord, are not free to make. They take a ton of time to put together, pretty much a brick-by-brick process, and we need your support on patreon.com/commonrealm to make more of these. So we would greatly appreciate it, and in the meanwhile, enjoy one of these two videos.